Good morning, everybody. I can't even tell you how happy I feel right now to be making this video for you because I have not had the energy to do anything for the last week. I actually got quite sick, a little chest infection, just started some antibiotics a few days ago, and I'm feeling better today, and I needed to get back to work. And I wanted to make this video as a follow-up from a video that I made recently that talks about how, some foreigners are finding it not what they were expecting coming to the Philippines as far as the dating. So I wanted to clarify some things about that before I move on to something else, because a lot of the comments in that video took it as if the Philippines is done. There's no longer a good place to meet girls. And some comments were even saying, man, maybe I should change my whole plan as far as coming, as far as retiring in the Philippines, as far as, visiting the Philippines. And man, don't do that. That would be pretty dumb because it's still an incredible place to meet girls and for dating compared to where you live. I mean, it's night and day. There are changes happening. There's no question about it. But let me clarify the most important part of that. The majority of foreigners all flock to the same few places in the Philippines. And if you look at those few places and then zoom out to the Philippines as a whole, it is a tiny, tiny percentage of the Philippines where all the foreigners go to. And even like if we say Manila, Cebu, Dumaguete, in those cities, it's a small little area. There's little bubbles where foreigners go because it's comfortable. BGC, IT Park, Cebu Business Park, and like downtown Dumaguete obviously has a big scene there, mostly like retirement guys from a lot from the US. And, naturally over time, when there's more foreigners kind of hanging out in an area, the excitement or the uniqueness of it all just kind of wears away. So you're basically not going to get noticed as you might have expected. But like Cebu City, for example, and I'm sure Manila too, it's an incredibly huge dating pool of single women, incredibly huge. So just because you walk around Ayala Mall or IT Park and you're not noticed and you're not getting that like overwhelming, oh man, this feels great, I'm the man. If you want that, you have to get out of those areas. But just because you're not getting that, it doesn't mean that there aren't incredible dating opportunities. And that's what I wanted to talk about in this video to sort of balance it out, right? There's so much hype in the Philippines. There's so many people focused on coming here. And I felt that other video was needed to just sort of like, get your expectations right, settle down. It's not this magical place if you're only going to these few areas. If you're going to come to these areas like most foreigners do, that's fine, but you have to approach it a different way. You have to understand like what it's like here as far as dating. Most guys find success just going online. So you could sit in the comfort of your fancy hotel or Airbnb in IT Park or hang out at Ayala Mall on the terraces and not even have to worry about trying to meet someone while you're there. I met a guy recently that had reached out to me a while back. He's a subscriber on the channel. We ended up talking on the phone. He's from Canada. And he was just wanting some, advice and conversation about, meeting girls here and talking about a girl that he had been chatting with online. And we stayed in touch and we ended up meeting up. And so when he came out here, he went straight to BGC. He had met some girls online before he arrived and he had set up some, meetups with them. But he also got online while he was here and he had set up other dates. And when I bumped into him, man, his smile couldn't have been any bigger. It was ear to ear with excitement about his experience so far in the Philippines. He had been here for a couple of weeks. He'd spent some time in BGC and he had been spending a little bit of time around Cebu going on dates as well. And basically just saying, okay, I came here with, a couple of girls in mind that I had been chatting with. Then I met a few more. Then all of a sudden I'm matching with new ones. And he's just like overwhelmed with opportunity that he was not getting back in Canada. And he was, fed up with the dating there. And he's doing all of this from these popular areas that I'm talking about. He's just hopping on his dating app. He's going on dates. Just to give you a little bit of context, he's 40 years old, nice guy, friendly guy, pretty confident, decent looking guy. And, obviously these kind of things can play into success, but not always. And I'm going to get to that. In fact, often the looks don't really matter as much as you might think. So this guy has been going on numerous dates. He is finding more the challenge is not finding dates, and it's not finding girls that are interested in him. It's finding the girl that he feels compatible with, you know, for a long-term relationship. He's having a good time. He said they're all sweet and nice, but they all had just something where he was just kind of not sure if it's the one. He's looking to go pretty quick, actually. He's looking to meet someone. He wants to settle down. So he wants to just meet as many as he can. And, you know, take it for what it's worth, guys. Everyone has a different approach. If you want to, you know, pick one from back home and just stick with her if you feel she's good. If you want to have a few lined up and try it that way, these are all options for you. It really just depends on your style. Another example. Here's a guy that's in his 60s in Dumaguete that I met while I was there recently. And this is a city that I would say is probably one of the harder places, but it's still, compared to back home, it's way better. But compared to other options in the Philippines, it's probably one of the harder places to meet someone. But here's a guy that wanted to prove a point that it's really not about what you look like. The guy's average guy, big belly, big-ish belly, and average looking, you know, nice, you know, good talker, 60-something years old, pretty confident. And I was chatting with him and another guy. In fact, this other guy I was referencing in my last video on how he was noticing that he's not getting that attention. He's not getting the looks or whatever that he used to back in the day. And he's like, listen, it doesn't matter. None of that really matters. What matters is making a connection with someone, going up and talking to them, just being a nice guy, being friendly, and seeing where that goes. And he's like, watch this. So we're at the mall, and he walks up to a cute 25-something girl that was hanging out with her friends. And he just went up to her, and he just strikes up a conversation, big smile on his face. Basically, nothing big. He wasn't trying to like hit on her or anything like that. And they chatted for a little bit, and you could tell that she was kind of like smiling and giggling. So whatever he was saying. But he came back a few minutes later, and he was like, yeah, it went well. She's really nice. A few minutes later, fast forward, this girl comes over to us and starts chatting with him, wants to keep the conversation going, and sits down next to him. And they start chatting a little bit, and me and the other guy were chatting. And so point is that you can meet a girl anywhere. And maybe you're not going to get the attention in these areas, but it doesn't mean you can't go up and start a conversation. And a lot of Filipinas are, you know, they're open to that. Another example, here's a guy that's in his 50s, average looking again, belly, you know, nothing special. I mean, just trying to paint the picture, nothing against the guy at all. Again, pretty confident, you know, good talker. This is key here for a lot of guys finding success, is that they're able to talk, they're able to hold conversation and kind of do it in a way that's not creepy and over the top, putting pressure on a girl. But he was telling me about his success in the Philippines. He's been here for just a few weeks, and he's just blown away with, you know, how many, you know, dates he's been on and how many girls that he has been able to connect with. And, you know, he's looking for the one too, but he's enjoying his dating along the way. Well, one thing that he said he's doing mainly online, matching with girls that are in the province of Cebu, so outside of the city, maybe a couple of hours, and they are meeting him in the city. They are actually hopping on a bus and coming into the city and meeting him. He's paying for their bus to come in. This strategy may or may not be for you. It may or may not work, but it's not uncommon. This is something that's common here in the Philippines, where Filipinos will come into the city knowing that's where all the foreigners are hanging out, and they're out in, you know, a small town or village with not much going on. They just need probably the fare money to come in to the city. So he's been matching with, showing me photos, like beautiful, beautiful Filipinas. All right, it started getting loud in the hallway, so I needed to step out for a bit. So I'll finish the video out here. Main point of these examples and this video is to say it really isn't hard overall to get dates in the Philippines, to make connections and find Filipinas that are interested in you, that will spend their time with you and are potential relationships. But that is the key word, guys, the potential. The hardest thing for me personally, and for a lot of guys that I meet in the Philippines that are still single but dating, it's hard to find the one that you can really see yourself with, like long term, or you can see yourself with down the road, someone that you'd like to marry, you know, whether or not you want to have kids or whatever, but you'd want to visualize that, right? To commit to someone and settle down and just go for it. There's definitely reasons why I think it's hard to find, you know, what you're looking for here. I think some guys get lucky and they just sort of find that person right away. That's just life, right? Like some people are going to find what they're looking for right away. Other people, it's going to take a while. A lot of people that I've met that are like have been living here for a while, even some other YouTubers that I've known that have been YouTubing for a long time, it took them like a few years before they met the one that they settled down with. There's so many reasons why. So it could be the approach you're taking. And I know I've been guilty of this, of like wanting something so bad, it's just not going to happen because you're just looking for it. Finding someone that you feel is truly genuine, that has genuine intentions, like that's still a thing. That's a common thing here, is finding out that maybe they're not going to be the trustworthy type. You know, there's just so many variables. There's so many things that can come into play that will make you realize, yeah, this is really not someone I feel comfortable with, like settling down with. There's some luck involved. There's definitely the approach. Another thing, this is back on you as a person, and like me as a person, is like really figuring out what it is you're looking for. Because when you're here, like I said with these examples, there are many opportunities to date, like tons. And so you could look at that as a distraction, right? It's like you come to this new country and it's like overwhelming with opportunity, is like you get lost in like figuring out what it is you're actually looking for. And there's certain things that you just have to like pinpoint and rule out the rest as far as some of the big ticket things, you know, kids or no kids, religious or not religious, whatever. A big thing for me, guys, no doubt about it, I admit it. When I came back to the Philippines, and I've been back for several months now, I was just so focused on like meeting the girl that I had this vision of being with, where life was going to be so amazing with us, you know, traveling together and doing these incredible things and, you know, feeling that connection, that deeper connection. And I think most of the time in life, if you just focus too much on something and wanting something, oftentimes it just doesn't happen that way. You know, good things often happen when you least expect them. And that's kind of the approach that I've been taking recently, just enjoying the day to day, you know, making good connections with people in general. Enjoy all the amazing things that there are to do here in the Philippines. Speaking of, I'm heading to Leyte tomorrow. I cannot wait. It's going to be a great adventure. Starting up in Bilaran, going to be making my way up to the northern part of Leyte, where they have some incredible like island hopping and beautiful beaches and things like that, but also just exploring the little towns and you know, making vlogs with interactions with people. I have a lot of ideas of like content for the next little while, and I'm going to be cranking out videos hopefully on a much more regular basis. So stay tuned for that, guys. Always appreciate your support. Hopefully you guys got some good info from this video. It's my first video back in a while. I just feel good being freaking out of my apartment. That alone is exciting for me. I've been mostly in bed for the last week. It just feels so good, guys. So more videos to come. Thanks again. See you soon. Bye.